Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday to you. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wentz. We've got a little snow on our way. It is December after all, so I want to make sure that we keep this under kind of perspective or in perspective in terms of the fact that, yes, it's December. Yes, we have snow on the way. Is this a big deal? Well, it's going to cause some problems for that morning commute, and then we have to really keep an eye on the lake effect. I mentioned that in this morning's post, that lake effect looking to cause some problems as we get into Friday night. So tomorrow evening, if you've got plans, which so many of us do this time of year, obviously that's something you're going to want to pay attention to. So we'll dive into the forecasts here. First, want to say hi to Mary. She's our early bird here on this Thursday evening. Jeff's with us. Darlene's with us on our YouTube channel. Ethan's with us as well. Gail, good evening to you. Tyler, hello. Justin, Mindy, Gail, Debbie, and Terry, good evening. Thank you guys for spending time with us here on this Thursday evening. Kind of an odd time, right? I know we usually do our broadcast on Sunday evenings. This is a free broadcast for our sponsors as well, FBIbuildings.com, Meals on Wheels of Northwest Indiana, PublicServiceAdjusting.com, TigerPlumbing.net, Minogue.life, Kate Cusack, Home Loan Girl on Facebook, and Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. They're all our local sponsors. Give them some love if you can. All right, let's dive into the forecast. So we had some bursts of snow that have already moved through Lake County, heading into Porter County right now, up towards the Chesterton area, dealing with some snow. That's getting into Michigan City here soon. And then after that, it kind of relaxes a little bit. There's some snowflakes mixed with rain moving in from Illinois. But I want to show you kind of big picture. This is the system as a whole. It's an Alberta Clipper. Same thing we talked about on Sunday and same thing we talked about in the post this morning. Nothing's really changed with this. Most of the snow is off towards the north with this in terms of all the accumulating stuff. It has been all day in the northwest. And you can see there's like several appendages or several areas of several vertices within this. So it's not quite organized yet in terms of what it's going to do for us locally. It's been organized. It was a powerful system when it came in the Pacific Northwest. It was a powerful system in the Northern Plains. But right now, there's kind of three lobes of energy with this. And what's going to happen over the next 12 hours or so, these areas of energy are going to kind of come together and form a stronger low once again. And that low is going to pick up our wind as we go in the daytime tomorrow. And it's also going to drive lake effect snow across Lake Michigan as it pulls colder air in from Canada. So all these things kind of at play. But in the near term, we're dealing with lobe of energy number one, which is right in here. There's another one up here and another one even further off towards the north. But this is the one we're dealing with here. This is the one that's going to kind of develop a little bit further as all this kind of curls together. So as a result, we got a good burst of snow that moved through initially, and then we're going to have more development. See how these cloud tops are getting colder, and we're seeing some development in northern Illinois. This will likely become better organized snow shower activity that kind of curls through here as we go into the overnight hours. So we're not done with the snow yet from this first wave. And then we really won't be until later tomorrow morning. We should catch a little break, and then we'll deal with lake effect. So I'll show you what I mean here in a second. This is how much snow has fallen so far. There are some areas that picked up general 2 to 4 inches with this. Some spots did see higher amounts where we're talking upwards of 6 to 8 inches of snow, areas of South Dakota. But you get the trend. It's moving our way. And again, this was as of this morning. This is not updated as of this evening. And this snow has stretched with a general 2 to 4, even 5, 6, 7 inches in spots in areas of Minnesota, heading up towards Wisconsin. That's where kind of the stripe of snow is from this. But again, it's evolving, so things are going to kind of change in terms of where that snow ribbon is. All right, so let's take you through time right now. Let me get my water bottle out of the way so I can actually see what I'm showing you. But in terms of the forecast, here's where we are right now. We got kind of this initial hit of snow, and you can see this low pressure that I showed you in Illinois. It's just now getting better organized, and it will sink down towards the south and the east. So it'll come virtually right over northwest Indiana as we get into the midnight, 1 o'clock hour in the morning. And I showed you in Illinois, remember I said those cloud tops are getting colder, so you see development where that low is. That development is going to continue right over us as it looks. And so as a result, you can see on radar, it may not be too impressive out towards our west, but things will continue to kind of pop right over northwest Indiana as we go into the overnight hours. Now, temperatures are kind of negligible. We're in the 30s, right? And the atmospheric, the profile going up, we have cold air aloft, but it's not as cold as it's going to be tomorrow. And so there is some support for some rain to mix in with this. And we are seeing that back in Illinois. So we may have spots when it's not snowing heavy, when we don't have the good lift going on, the atmosphere kind of relaxes a little bit, and it doesn't support snow where you have the snow forming up in the atmosphere. So bottom line, we could have some drizzle and some rain mixed in with some of these big snowflakes. But once we get these heavier rates going, it'll change to all snow. You should get all big, fat, fluffy flakes. Either way, we're going to get some snow tonight, maybe mixed with rain a little bit earlier. And notice as we go through time, this low's pulling down to the south, and we're keeping a pretty decent snow around northwest Indiana. Not a lot of snow tonight, but we are going to get some snow, and this is going to carry us through the morning rush hour. I would say anywhere from a half an inch for some, which isn't a lot, upwards of 2, maybe 2.5 inches by morning tomorrow. All right. And that is even kind of even chances all across the region. So Lake Porter, LaPorte, Newton, Jasper, Stark, that's our coverage area. All the counties stand equal chance at getting equal snow tonight. All right, because there's not lake effect involved yet. Once we get into tomorrow morning and then eventually into midday, the low pulls south. We'll catch a break in the action as we watch kind of system snow pull away. All right. And then as we get this is like midday lunchtime tomorrow. We'll get a break. It'll be windy and it'll be getting colder. But what we're going to keep our eye on is not necessarily the storm system anymore. It'll be a pretty stout band of lake effect snow that we're expecting to develop out over Lake Michigan. And this has showed up in all the modeling. So it's a guarantee it's going to happen. The placement on it, though, is not guaranteed because it's lake effect. All right. But what we will see develop is a pretty stout band of lake effect snow that'll be targeting with this northeast wind areas of southeastern Wisconsin and northeastern areas of Illinois. All right. Up towards the Wilmette area, eventually getting into Chicago as we go throughout the afternoon hours. And you can see as this low pulls away, what it will do, it's going to take that lake effect snow band and it's going to pull it as well into northwest Indiana. So system snow tonight. Tomorrow morning's rush hour could be slick on untreated surfaces. If they're treated, I think they'll be just fine. And the reason why our temperatures are going to stay either at or above freezing. All right. So we're not worried on treated surfaces getting bad. I think they'll just be wet tomorrow morning. But anything that's untreated, side roads, driveways, stuff like that, we're going to have a little snow on it. All right. So that's tomorrow morning, and then we'll catch a little break. We'll go quiet where system pulls away, and then we're going to track this lake effect snow band in. This is the one that I think is going to be the one, really the reason why we're doing a broadcast tonight is because this is going to make things tricky tomorrow evening, all right? Later tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, and it all depends on where it sets up. So as of right now, again, it starts in Wisconsin early afternoon. It moves into Chicago sometime close to that evening rush hour, maybe just before it, maybe just after it. It all depends on the exact wind flow and where this thing descends to wobble, but that could be impactful for Chicago's rush hour tomorrow. And then you can see kind of what happens here with this band coming into northwest Indiana tomorrow evening. All right. And this will have some pretty good snow with it. Should be pretty organized. Could get some snowfall rates upwards of an inch an hour with this thing. And then eventually what happens is it kind of pinwheels out towards the east into Porter and LaPorte counties. That's the plan for it as of right now. I forecasted lake effect snow long enough to know that we could have a plan in place for what we think it's going to do. I could look at all the models and they all say the same thing. And then Lake Michigan and the wind flow decides to do its own thing. All right. But that's a general plan, is that this thing kind of comes into the region, even Lake County, who has been absent of any lake effect snow so far this season, even in the Lake County, then eventually into Porter and LaPorte. And then it kind of hangs out for a little bit as we go into Friday night and Saturday. You can see how it just kind of waffles back and forth. We're not done with it. It will continue on Saturday. And then it should wind down as we get into Saturday evening and Saturday night as that high pressure takes over and we kind of lose the flow and lose the moisture source around as well. I am also aware of, I mean, how can you not be, of the college football playoffs begin, Notre Dame and Indiana. That game looks to start snowy during the tailgate, and we'll have to keep an eye on the snow as we go throughout the game. It's going to be cold, but there is going to be some snow, at least initially, for that game. So it's going to be fun to watch. I just love watching football games that have snow potential with it. So big game tomorrow night, obviously, with that. All right, so in terms of snowfall totals, let's talk about it. This is the map that I like best. We use a variety of products. I like Pivotal Weather's color scales a lot better. The presentation to me is just better in terms of being able to understand if you can see the colors better. So here's this. So what I want to stop at is right here. This is how much snow the HRRR, which is what I kind of agree with most right now. The Nam Nest, I feel like, is overdone in spots. The Her, I feel like, has a better handle on that lake effect band. But this is what I want to show you. This is tomorrow morning waking up, how much snow that the Her model is expecting. All right. This isn't a lot. This is not a blockbuster snow tonight into tomorrow, but it's enough to cause problems. So anywhere from a half an inch to maybe 2.5 inches is what I'm going with. Bulk of the snow's in the northern counties, but I can't rule out some of these 1 to 2 inch totals getting into areas of northern Newton, Jasper, and Stark counties as well. Okay. So not a ton of snow tomorrow morning, but enough on untreated surfaces to make it slick. And then watch this. This has been showing up for the last day, about the last 18 hours or so. Here comes the lake effect snow band, and you look how that kind of paints later on tomorrow through tomorrow night into Saturday morning. That paints more snow in the snow belt, where we're talking upwards of maybe 5, 6, 7 inches if this band can sit over a particular area. All right. So I would go general 3 to 6 in the snow belt right now. That includes Lake Porter and LaPorte counties. Keep in mind, it's not always going to be the 6. Sometimes it's the 3, but I think we'll get a good range as that lake effect snow band comes in. If that band decides to park over any particular county for longer than 2-3 hours, which, it certainly could, but it looks to kind of fluctuate. But if it does decide to park, we could be talking upwards of 6 or more inches of snow, like maybe 6, 7, 8. Again, that's high end of the scale. I think a general 3 to 6 for our Lake Porter and LaPorte County friends, with lesser amounts down to the south. Newton, Jasper, Stark counties, you're going to get most of your snow from the system, which arrives tonight, tomorrow. And again, half an inch to about 2.5 inches out of that. Okay. So not a blockbuster snow, but snowfall is much different depending on the time of the day. So when it's falling tonight into tomorrow morning, remember that can stick a lot easier on area roadways that are untreated. So we may have slick travel tomorrow morning. During the day, as it backs off, I'm not expecting any problems. And then as we get into tomorrow afternoon, and then especially tomorrow evening, once that sun goes down and we're putting some heavier snowfall on top of things, that could be problematic for any of your Friday evening plans. All right. And again, I know a lot of people have Friday evening plans the Friday before Christmas. All right. Whether it be buttoning up the Christmas stuff, going to a holiday party, hanging out with friends, or watching the game somewhere. There are a lot of people traveling tomorrow night. And again, that is why I wanted to do this broadcast, so you guys are aware of that. You're going to allow some extra time. If you are accustomed to the weather here in Northwest Indiana, this is winter time. All right. This is not a blockbuster storm. But again, things could be problematic tomorrow evening. So if you're a good winter weather driver, you'll be okay. Just take your time and allow extra time. If you're not, then you may want to reconsider based on where that band is tomorrow. We'll be tracking it for you. Okay. So that's that. So let's quickly answer some of your questions, and then I got to get to bed because I've got a morning show to do here in just a couple hours. So there's that. All right, let's see. Sean on our YouTube channel asking, are our temperatures supposed to rise next week? I keep seeing on a WGN about temperatures going up. Yeah, so Sean, we are going to get warmer next week. We're going to be talking rain showers by Christmas. There's a bigger pattern change that's going to take place next week as we lead up to Christmas. We get a cold shot of air this weekend. We'll be in the 20s Saturday, Sunday. And then, Sean, next week, there's going to be a big low pressure system that develops out in the Central Plains. And out ahead of that, we're going to be on the warm side. We're going to have a nice southwest flow for several days. So our temperatures are going to be climbing as we go through Christmas and beyond. And we're going to be talking some rain showers. So it looks like kind of a longer, not warm spell, but a mild spell. Well, we'll be in the 40s, could hit the low 50s if things go well. I've seen even some 60s down to the south. But this is all because there's a big storm system in the plains that's going to funnel up that warm air. It'll turn cold and snowy in the western U.S. And then all indication is that eventually has to come east. And there's a lot of indication that January looks really cold around here. As we've seen some stratospheric warming, the pattern shifts some cold air into Canada. There's a lot of things in play that we kind of pay for the warmer air later next week as we go into January. So we'll see. Okay. Yeah, Kathy, I'll tell you, it looks, the game looks snowy, but it looks snowy kind of on the front end. So, I mean, we're going to have to keep a close eye on it for sure. I do think there'll be some snow, at least on the side of the field, but I can't wait to watch. I really can't. I love games where the weather, especially snow, is in play. It's fun to watch. And good question. So Saturday driving down to Indy should be just fine. In terms of locally, we may still have some lake effect snow around and here locally, probably Porter, LaPorte counties. But once you get out of that, I mean, once you get south on 65, I would say south of Crown Point, you should be okay. All right. Debbie, great call. So this is going to be a wet snow. The lake effect is going to be a little bit fluffier because we'll have colder air temps, but it's going to start as a wet snow tonight into tomorrow morning. It'll still be kind of a wet snow tomorrow evening, and it'll probably turn a little fluffier tomorrow night into Saturday morning as our temperatures drop. All right. Phoebe, yeah, for sure. You're right in that bullseye there, for sure. That's awesome. Joey, Merry Christmas to you. Holly wants all the snow to go to Crown Point. Holly, we'll see what we can do. Mother Nature doesn't listen to us, unfortunately. Yeah, so Jimmy, for Hammond, I mean, this map is just a guesstimate of where the snow is expected to fly. Let me go back to this so you can kind of see the evolution of it over the next 24 hours. But Jimmy, in terms of snowfall for Hammond, I would say you're right in the thick of a general 3 to 6 inches out of this. We're going to get a little bit tonight, anywhere from a half an inch to 2 inches, depending on kind of how things evolve as this low moves through. And then we're going to bring some more lake effect into that tomorrow. That lake effect tomorrow afternoon and evening is really, that's the part I'm concerned with the system in terms of impacts. All right. So little slick tomorrow morning if it's untreated, but tomorrow afternoon and evening, I think we have to really keep an eye on that lake effect band. It could be intense in spots. Good news is it doesn't sit over any particular area. That's interesting. Rich, I don't know who's going to win tomorrow. I really don't. I mean, Indiana's been so hot this year, but the Irish are the Irish. So I don't know. And I do a little dabbling in sports betting, and I'm not touching the game tomorrow. I'm really not. So we'll see. Melanie, you might get a little snow down in the Roselawn area. Again, you're in the 0.5 the half an inch to about 2.5 inch range tonight, depending on how things go. But most of your snow, again, is going to have to fall tonight into tomorrow morning with the actual system. Okay. So there's that. Kathy, so the big to watch timing with lake effect is Saturday, right? No, Kathy, it's actually later tomorrow night. All right. So tomorrow afternoon, we're going to track a lake effect snow band off of Lake Michigan into Chicago. And then that band will likely curl into Northwest Indiana late tomorrow afternoon or into the evening tomorrow. And that's the one I'm watching. We'll still have some lake effect around Saturday, Kathy, but tomorrow afternoon and evening is the time frame I'm watching into tomorrow night. That's when we could have some pretty decent rates around here. Okay. Ooh, Lindsay, driving to Toledo. Well, it'll be interesting for sure. Hopefully, it depends on what time you leave, but it is going to get a little tricky around here the later you leave. We'll just say that. Okay. All right. Let's see. I think that's about it. Ethan, I see some questions on next week's or late month severe weather threat. We're not going to cover that now. This is all about the snow threat here. Let's see. Sean says, will the lake effect snow reach Wheatfield? I think some of it could, Sean. And usually the way it reaches Wheatfield is if we have strong enough wind, and the wind will be gusty. We're talking gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour with this coming off the lake. So that will take that lake band and kind of stretch it out a little bit. So I do think you'll get some of the lake effect snow as that band comes south into the Wheatfield area. It'll obviously be heavier as you get north. But yeah, I do think you'll get some of that for sure. Yeah. Hi, Luann. Thanks for joining us. All right. Yeah, Ethan, for sure. Yeah, we're looking at snow squalls. I mean, this is lake effect snow. And Lake Michigan's a different beast just because of the longevity of it. You can get a band that develops up near Duluth and comes all the way down towards the south, or not Duluth, Marquette, and then comes all the way down towards the south. And that's a lot of mileage that it can pick up moisture and really target that band on the region. So for sure, yeah. Yeah, Tanya, there's not a winter threat next week. We're going to start to warm up next week. So we're talking mainly rain showers. We may see an initial burst of snow sometime late Monday into Tuesday as the system comes in. But as of right now, we're looking at rain around here, and a warm up next week for Christmas will likely be around 40 or into the 40s on Christmas. And then beyond that could be well into the 40s, if not low 50s, as a big system develops west of us. We'll be on the warm receiving side of that. So really interesting how this works out. Miriam, all of our fear is the other drivers for sure. There's that. Tanya's super happy. All right. All right, everybody, I'll let you go. Just wanted to give you the heads up. Again, just in summary here, we're going to have a little snow around here tonight. We're already seeing bursts go through. This low is going to kind of pivot over us tonight. So I think anywhere from a half an inch to 2.5 inches on the ground tomorrow morning for rush hour. Temperatures are going to stay at or above freezing, so we're not going to deal with problems on treated roadways. As long as it's treated, it should be wet, all right? If INDOT does their job, things should just be wet tomorrow morning. However, if it's untreated, it's going to be snow covered in spots tomorrow morning. So that's your range tomorrow morning. Should catch a little break as we go throughout the day tomorrow with just some scattered snow showers. And then we'll watch that lake effect band. That's the reason why I'm doing this broadcast tonight. That lake effect band could put down some heavy snow in a hurry in spots. Remember, it's lake effect, so it's localized. Not everyone's going to see it. It's going to start in Wisconsin, head down towards Illinois during the day tomorrow, and curl in here sometime tomorrow evening, late afternoon into the evening hours. And that looks to be problematic as long as it's organized, which it looks to be, where we would get some heavier totals out of that. Okay, so that's what we've got. All right, guys, you have a wonderful evening. We'll stay on it. Got another update. Again, I'll be up bright and early tracking this thing for you. We'll keep you updated all the way through Saturday in terms of where this lake effect band is and what we're expecting out of it. Okay. All right. Drive safe. Happy holidays. I'm sure we'll talk again here over the next couple of days. All right.